a site to help those conference calls and videos shine. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us from Mmmhmm is CEO Phil Libin. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Fred.
Love the name of the company. Give us the overview of what Mmmhmm is all about.
It's basically about making your video communications more effective and less boring. We started during right in the beginning of the COVID pandemic when everyone had to go on video, and video was just it was just super boring. All the meetings and presentations, the people kind of knew how to do it. So we were just trying to make something that makes video for work as engaging as video that you encounter for entertainment.
For instance, what are you doing that's different?
Well, there's a bunch of different aspects. One is just to make you look presentable on video. Um, there's a few different elements of that. Is like kind of foreground and background. This is my actual library, and one of the things that we actually just released in version 3.5 is this like background tinting. So lots of you could do background blurring in Zoom and in all sorts of places. That's fairly common, and that's like relatively effective. But with us, you can really do anything you want. So you can replace your background completely for a virtual background, which could be static or animated. We have a few hundred really beautiful ones. I actually prefer to have my actual background most of the time. It feels more authentic. But you can also, instead of just blurring it, you can also change the tinting and the contrast. And this is like kind of a minor thing, but it's actually pretty amazing, right? Like this idea of applying like a little gradient over your real background still makes it feel authentic because like you're not in a fake environment, but it immediately kind of cleans things up, makes it look neat. In fact, like the more cluttered the background, the better it looks like this because if you're not really thinking about what you're seeing, it kind of looks like I just like very carefully color arranged, a few thousand books or something. So this is just like a small example, a really fast way to whatever your environment is, get you looking good. And if you're using this in a company, you can look on brand. An organization can say, okay, here's our colors, here's our logos. Whenever our people are dialing into video, whether they're in a hotel room or in their home office or not, like everything looks consistent. It's real, it's authentic, but it's on brand and it's professional. And that's just this is the tip of the iceberg. There's tons of other things around making presentations, having visuals appear in front of you, behind you, kind of anywhere that you want, being able to tell a compelling story, using AI to make your presentations better. It kind of goes on and on, but the focus is be effective on video. When the camera's on, so are you.
And one of the things you can do is kind of resize yourself and move yourself around in a window. I'm playing around with it some. And the idea of using AI and having questions
Hmm.
come up, that seems pretty unique. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, so you can do uh, once you're kind of past just the normal conversation where you've just made yourself look on brand and presentable, you can move on to all sorts of things. So you can have slides, for example. So I was doing a presentation to my data team, and I just pulled up this quote from George Bach, right? All models are wrong, but some are useful. So you can be talking and having things appear in back of you, in front of you, in a way that doesn't really break. It doesn't break continuity. It's not as jarring as like, oh, can I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my slides? Now I'm in the middle of a PowerPoint. You can do things like this, which are much more much more effective at communicating. And you can also go to I can hide my background completely. As you said, you can grow and shrink. I can say I can put myself, in a mask this way and moved over here and talk about whatever I want to discuss in this slide. And I can sequence these together. So as I build the presentation, each scene can be different. I can kind of move back and forth between um, what I'm trying to convey.
And one of the interesting things is you can do this without the need for production studio, and ease of use is a key factor here too. Tell me about it.
Yeah, there's no most, people don't have time unless you're a video professional. Like you don't have time for like post production. Um, you have to like it's about being as productive as possible like while you're doing something, and then you're done and you can like move on to the next thing. So we don't want people to be doing lots of editing post production. You can if you want. If you're making a recording, you can do a lot of editing afterwards. But we've put in a lot of tools to let you just do stuff on the fly, like as things are happening on the spot. So everything that you've seen so far, I'm just doing live while talking to you. And there's a lot of tools for it. So I can, if I wanted to point at things, I can put up like a cursor and say like, oh, like this is my new favorite thing right here. Is this it's a it's an old Mmmhmm. It's just a bunch of lights and buttons that blinks, but it's neat. You can also, as you pointed out, use AI, and we use AI in a really interesting way. We really think that the A ought to stand for augmented instead of intelligent. Like we're not using AI to make something more intelligent than you. We're not using AI to like tell you what to say, because I think all of that it's just bad quality most of the time. We're using AI to augment your capabilities. So we use it to ask you questions. So if I want to talk about something and I don't really know how to get started, I could just sit down and we'll ask you, what do you want to talk about? And I say, well, I want to make a quick recording for my stats team to explain our new priorities. And it'll ask a follow-up question. I'll say, well, what are these new priorities? And I'll answer that. And it'll ask me a follow-up question based on that. So it's kind of like doing a fireside chat. You look into the camera, it shows you questions that it's adjusting the questions based on your responses, like a good host would do. And then it edits itself out of the video. So the resulting video is just you looking into the camera with overlays and text and questions coming up, answering them. But it's your face, your voice, your answers. It's just prompting you to think a little bit clearer and to communicate a little bit clearer about it. And of course, you can redo it. You can answer more questions. You can kind of go back and forth, or you could just sit down and say, yeah, I want to get through a recording for 5 minutes, and I want to talk about this particular thing, and it'll just guide you through it.
You also have the capability of putting notes up on the screen to help you out when you're on a doing a presentation or on a call, right?
Yeah, you can have speaker notes, you can have slides and visuals. You can even customize all of this, including customize the question templates. So uh, we actually just started this process at the company. I can send you a link, and if you click the link, it'll ask you a series of questions, and I can customize what that link is based on the kind of information I'm trying to solicit. Let's say I want to get feedback about a new product, or let's say this is a tech support thing. You have some problems using our product. I send you a link that asks you, well, what went wrong? What were you doing? And you just answer it. You answer it visually by talking and or showing things. But it's not like filling out a form because these questions aren't static. They're responsive based on what you say, trying to solicit the necessary information that the sender wants. That, for example, in this case, we would need to fix your problem. It's what we're really trying to do is say, look, people have these two experiences of video. In our work lives, it's pretty dreadful, right? Like no one like the worst thing you can do is like ask someone to like watch a recording of like a Zoom meeting that they didn't attend, right? Like people are like, oh, I can't make it. Can you like record it? I'll watch it. Like, have you ever tried watching a Zoom recording? It's basically unwatchable, not because of Zoom. There's nothing that the software is doing right. It's just like this like make it easy to record something that wasn't really meant to be recorded, that wasn't like sequenced correctly, and then subject people to it is it's inhumane. It's like, it's like a video voicemail. No one wants video voicemail. No one wants actual voicemail. No one wants video voicemail. Sometimes you get like you get a loom or something. It's just a screen recording of somebody just like talking over a screen. And those can be very effective, but a lot of times it's like the person who made it didn't even like didn't even watch it. It was easy for the person to make, but it's hard for you to watch. And there's typically more people watching than recording, right? That's just how it goes. And so videos at work, for whatever set of reasons, are pretty bad. And worse than boring, they're just like not very effective. Um, but then you have the rest of your life, like videos in for entertainment. You know, when you're watching movies or TV shows or on social media or TikTok, videos meant for entertainment are great. Like we all know this, they have this potential to be really, really effective. So why is that? Why do we have like videos at work being like dreadful and we cringe whenever we have to be exposed to them, and videos in our private lives being for the most part like really accessible and interesting and delightful? It's because when people are making them at work, they're missing the fundamental, like the simple tools and the simple philosophies. Like, how do you do it so that it's actually great? So that sending a video is the best way to explain something, not the worst way. And yeah, is a collection of tools and philosophies. It's a philosophy as much as it is a tool that just lets you be really effective at video communication.
Tell us more, Phil, about how this came about, your background that led you to do this.
Well, I I'm an engineer by training, and I've started a few companies. And A lot of us at were at Evernote before, so I was a co-founder and CEO of Evernote for a long time, and many of the people on my team kind of go back to that point. And so we've thought a lot about productivity back in Evernote days. We kind of redefined the productivity category. You know, when we before we started Evernote, productivity was like it was basically Microsoft Office. It was like a word processor and a spreadsheet and a database. I don't really know what a database is anymore, and like it hadn't really changed in 20 years. And we said, no, actually, productivity is something different. It's fundamentally about having everything with you. You can use it on your phone and so on. And we were working on, a number of projects. We had a studio that we launched called All Turtles, which makes products in a hopefully in an efficient way. And then when COVID happened, we all had to go and work remotely, just like everyone did. And we just realized how bad it had gotten. That, every Zoom meeting, it was just bad. It was ineffective. Everyone was kind of bored and depressed, and it was hard to get things done. And we were busier than ever. I kind of thought naively, you know, wow, I don't have to, for when we were in lockdown for, a few months, I was like, well, I don't have to like go anywhere anymore. I should have all this time. But no, because like Zoom expanded to take up every possible minute, right? Because like now that you didn't even have to travel between meetings, you could just like stack them up back to back to back. So I went from having an average of about 9 minutes, 9 meetings a day before COVID. Early days of COVID, I was having 14 and a half meetings a day on Zoom. I'm a nerd and I track these things, but
The
and they
half
work
meeting
very
was the
good.
one you slept through, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so literally we just started goofing around. I was just trying to make myself and my team laugh a little bit. So we've started using fake backgrounds and putting up, Giphies and animations and just it didn't start as a practical thing. That's why the name is kind of goofy. It kind of started goofy. Uh, but then we actually realized, man, we're onto something because if you make the video not boring, you can get your point across. You can get people to agree with you. You actually hear a lot when you're talking and being effective because that's the sound of like you getting through to people. So it came very much from solving a personal need. And then we kind of realized that this was actually, I think, key to workplace productivity.
Terrific. So this works on a variety of platforms. Tell us about that and the pricing model.
Yeah, it works on Mac and Windows, or the web. So you can download a native version on Windows and Mac, and there's a virtual camera, which means it works with all other video platforms. So you can use it like we are here with Zoom or with Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or WebEx, kind of whatever. Both for live and for recording. So you can use it by standalone, or you could use it with any of these other programs as a video companion. So you don't have to change your video workflow. Which means like if the rest of your team is using Zoom, yeah, you can still participate in all those, except like your Zoom is better. Your little square becomes much better, more effective because you're using and so you can do much better reactions and backgrounds, and you can think things through more clearly with questions. There's also a web version if you want to just do recordings, so you don't even need to download any software. The pricing is $10 a month, so you can evaluate it for free. and then it's $10 a month if you decide that it's useful enough for you to use.
And for more info, the place to go.
It's dot app, dot app.
Mm-hmm. Phil Libin, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Fred.